Namaskara and a very warm welcome to Times Now's Election Yatra. I'm Pratibha Chandran and today we're joining you from the iconic temple town of Madurai. Right behind me you can see the very beautiful Teppakulam, which is the temple pond, because just a few kilometers away is the iconic Meenakshi Amman temple, which stands with all its grandeur in Madurai, the temple town that it is famous for. And beyond the religious lines, it is also very important and crucial politically as well. It has been a location that has seen a lot of Dravidian upheaval. And today, as we track the 2026 elections, we put our focus on what happened in the 2021 elections and what has changed in the last 5 years for the people of Madurai. Is it about the welfare policies? It is about the caste dynamics, or is there more development that they want from here? We speak to the people and we speak to the netas to find out. When it comes to the politics in Tamil Nadu, the city of Madurai has always played a critical role. Be it the DMK or the AIADMK, political rallies in Madurai have always scripted history. Even Kamal Hassan or Vijay had their first political conference in this city. While the city was once the stronghold of MK Alagiri, it has now become a DMK bastion under MK Stalin. And if there's one man who is now leading the charge for the DMK in Madurai, it is PTR, a highly qualified technocrat and now a minister in the DMK government. But can PTR defend DMK's Madurai fortress? So Times Now's Election Yatra has a very special guest this evening. We have with us an MIT graduate, finance expert, more importantly Tamil Nadu Minister, Mr. PTR, who is known to call a spade, many times quoting controversy as well, but loved for the fact that he wears his heart on his sleeve. Mr. PTR, thank you so much for joining us on Times Now's Election Yatra.
Thank you for having me.
I want to begin by asking you, now the election season is here. That is when the people decide whether they want the government back, whether they want continuity. How is it looking for the DMK? How do you think people are rating the DMK?
Yeah, I think both anecdotally as well as through all the polling numbers that I have, which is more my constituency and my district, but also all the C voter, all of these, reflect what I expect, which is that this government has been very meticulous, come through times of crisis like the post-COVID era, achieved both economic growth in terms of unparalleled in this country right now, 11% plus real growth. Sadly, we live in a time where the kind of decomposition of federalism and the authoritarian approach of the government of India, including, for example, the one nation, one election, where they say they will dissolve state governments at their will to make this a reality. We are now in a somewhat existential crisis. Do we want to continue our way of life, democracy as we know it, secularism, federalism, or not? So in addition to the normal conditions of any good democracy and any good election, we now have this question of, do you really want self-rule, like, autonomy and states' rights, or would you rather sacrifice that, which obviously nobody would? So there's that element of anti-authoritarianism in this election that is very clearly true in Tamil Nadu. For all the elections, you can look back in 16 and 19 and 21 and 24, it continues.
Okay, but when you say that it is an issue of existential crisis for Tamil Nadu, is there a certain, you're talking about state autonomy, we've spoken about that as well time and again. Is there an element of fear-mongering or making it seem like a bigger issue than it is, making it an insider versus outsider battle?
Yeah, I think if anything, we're doing too little of it. I think that because it has been creep every day, in every way, in every bill, in every aspect, in every financing, in every action of the governor, in every dimension of life, this authoritarianism has crept in. So if anything, we are not making big enough a noise of it.
Okay, we'll circle back to some of the issues that have been spoken about, especially by the BJP. The Prime Minister has also been here extensively, the BJP are trying to make inroads. But before that, I want to speak about your own constituency from the Madurai Central and in the entire Madurai district, really. It is going to be in the center of a lot of politics because of the Tirupuram Kundram controversy. What is the DMK stand on that? Because the BJP says that the stand of the party is anti-Hindu.
That's an old trope. I've kind of argued that this is nonsense back in 2016 and 19 and 21 and 24. Tirupurundram is the only new component to it. Otherwise, the allegation is the same old recycled allegation. I'm very happy to say that the Tirupurundram issue, not just I, but the local MLA, who's a ADMK MLA, as well as most people in the community, are very clear. It was manufactured by a few for the sake of creating communal tension. It is not an issue in Madurai. Maybe it's an issue in your heads in Delhi, but in Madurai it is not an issue.
Okay, but do you think that because of the court order, it strengthens the BJP saying that this is going against the devotees in the case, or you're saying that you maintain that, for the devotees in Madurai, it's not an issue?
Yeah, I don't recall a single devotee of Madurai being offended in any way. This was a manufactured controversy by a few right-wing zealots. It is a case that many legal scholars would argue had been settled by a two-judge bench many years ago and should not have been taken up by a single-judge bench at all, certainly not in the haste in which it was taken up. Those are issues for legal experts. The law is the law. It will take its own course. The people on the ground will not get affected by such manufactured controversies.
Okay, so manufactured controversy, nothing else. You've been the finance minister as well. Where do you stand on the welfare schemes? Because it is often being criticized as freebies. Now, any criticism, and I'm not just talking about the criticism that comes in, because now finally the AIADMK, BJP have also made similar promises. But as somebody, you are a finance man, how do you look at the difference between welfare schemes versus the freebies?
The first is, philosophically, everybody does some kind of welfare. Second, politically, those who are doing it will say it is welfare, and those who are not doing it or against it will call it freebie. So, as I've said earlier, one man's social welfare is another man's freebie. The famous Prime Minister who said everything is Revdi when it was done by others. His party and he himself has gone to Madhya Pradesh and Bihar and promised and handed out all kinds of money, especially around the time of elections in Maharashtra and Madhya Pradesh and Bihar. So there's a lot of hypocrisy, right? When you do it, it's considered welfare spending. When I do it, it's not, according to you. So I'm saying the much more nuanced view, which any thoughtful person will say, is you have to make a balance between welfare in a way that is accretive, that brings social justice, that reduces risk, that adds investment in human capital, and one that is basically dilutive and is creating revenue deficits for no good reason. There's a very fine balance. It is easier for states like us that are mostly self-financed. We don't get a lot of money from the union, relatively speaking. We put in a rupee, we get back like 25 paise back. For us to say that it should be our judgment, it's a lot harder for states like Bihar, where if 1 rupee of spending, 80 paise has come from the government of India, which is the tax money of the rest of the states, to be that kind of blasé about it.
What do you think of the Vijay's entry into politics? What is the kind of impact that it's going to have on the ground? He's a very popular actor, but do you actually see that translating into votes?
My personal generic view is that in a democracy, all kinds of people should participate in the system, and the more choices people have, the better they are likely to get somebody they like. And so, in a democracy, whoever wants to play should play. The people will decide who's got what standing.
Okay. And on the AIADMK and the BJP's entry, would you want to give any advice or anything you want to say on how that is going to play out in the election?
Listen, the BJP and ADMK were together in 2019. It led to, at least to my understanding, since 1996, the most one-sided victory for the DMK, UPA alliance, which was a 53% to 30% vote share. In 2021, they were together at the state level, which also led to a 46, 47% to 40% gap. In 2024, they were separated. In 2026, they've rejoined. I don't think it changes that much. We've already seen how this plays out in 19, in 21. So 24 is an aberration. I'm sanguine. I think that the people of Tamil Nadu can tell the difference between those who have a homogenizing, one India, one X, everything should come from Delhi, you learn my language, I tell you what to eat, I deprive you of your funds approach, and self-respect, social justice, state autonomy approach. The people will vote on that. I'm very comfortable and sanguine about it.
Okay, all right. And a little bit now, we spoke about your constituency. Yeah. We want to focus on you as well. Where do you see yourself in the DMK now and the kind of changes that you have seen over the last 5 years as well? What would you like to say?
Well, I think the government, as I say, I've been now an elected MLA for 10 years, and the government of the last 5 years, and I've also done, because of my IT wing, because of my being a data-driven person, I've probably done analysis of the state's policies, finances, going back to, let's say, the year 2000 or so. A seminal turning point for us was the 2003 Fiscal Responsibility Act, which was common to much of the country, World Bank-sponsored approach. From then till now, I would say there have been good years, bad years, indifferent years. But I can honestly say the last 5 years have set a new benchmark in terms of data-driven governance, in terms of automation and e-governance and moving away from human intervention, in terms of thoughtful schemes, in terms of bridging the gaps, identifying and bridging the gaps to progress. And of course, we have benefited from the kind of global trends, the macro trends, including the de-risking away from China that a lot of big corporates have done. So I would say almost that we are in a sweet spot where having extremely good human capital weighted average because of inclusion and social justice, plus the macro trend of opportunity set that is so large because of the kind of transfer out of China, that we are in as good a place economically as we have been.
But has India taken a standing, or some of the global challenges you spoke about as well, including tariffs? Do you think India has taken a strong stance, the center has taken a strong stance, or it leaves a lot wanting?
Whenever I have interacted with ministers of the union government, whenever I went, I was always received warmly, I was always given time, I was always given courtesy, I was always given a seat. The recent AI summit, I was invited to the plenary, seated in front. So that level is good. But if you go one level down, are we working together? Are we coordinating? Are we learning from each other? Are we jointly coming up with a strategy for how we can both, kind of surpass the volatility and unexpected developments like the tariffs, as well as seize the opportunity that is coming out of the bucking of 30, 40 year, 70-year trends and resetting into new trends? Then the answer is very clearly no. If the union government had chosen to take a more proactive approach to get the states engaged, particularly those states that have great manufacturing bases, great service bases, great export bases, great diaspora connect, and we could all work together, we could hugely benefit from this kind of both disruption in a good and bad way.
Okay.
But what is happening instead is that we get diktat from Delhi. And then, we have all the consequences of that. So it's a lack of partnership and a lack of open-mindedness. At a courtesy level, at a decency level, it's okay. At an actual progress level, at an action level, it is very much I set the rules and you follow.
Okay, right? So at the execution level, there are issues. But talking about Madurai, now with elections coming up, I want to ask you, to the people of Madurai who are watching, what would you want to promise for the next 5 years for Madurai?
In my own constituency, last year, the first election, I didn't have any separate list of manifesto or list of election commitments. It was my first time in politics, and I didn't know what I could or couldn't do. The second election I stood in, which I won with about a 23% margin, I made only 3 commitments. I said we'll conclude the drinking water scheme, which is to bring clear water, clean water to every house from the third collective scheme. We will improve the underground drainage, and we will finish the long-delayed Kumbhabhishekam of Madurai temple, which is in my constituency. So the scheme is done, where I'm just walking around every day checking. There's some leaks and all need to be done. That's done. The second, sadly, the underground drainage turned out to be a much bigger problem than we envisioned. But anyway, when I was finance minister, I discovered that. So we sanctioned the detailed project report preparation, which was done by a very professional services company. We now have the DPR for the entire Madurai's 2 DPRs, one for stormwater and the canals and one for underground drainage. And the CM has announced that the first phase of that in the heart of the city, including my constituency, will be taken up right away. And just 2-3 days ago, the Minister for HR and CE has announced that the Kumbhabhishekam from Meenakshi Amman temple will be done on September 17th. So in some sense, I would say, though not 100% complete, I've made sure that we do a lot of things on the track.
Do you think the AIIMS Madurai, the metro there, or these promises, the Prime Minister has also said, we have speak about temple tourism. He will bring that to Madurai and across Tamil Nadu. Very quickly, what would you like to respond?
He doesn't need to bring temple tourism. We have the temples, the tourists will come. He just needs to make sure that the airport is given the right status, the infrastructure like the metro is funded properly as a joint venture. He just needs to do the union government's part. He cannot bring temple tourism. The temple will bring the tourism. He can help us with the infrastructure. As I say, the treatment has been stepmotherly, right? If you look at the metro projects they've cleared compared to the ones they rejected for Coimbatore and Madurai, it's very clear the yardstick is different. If you're a BJP government in the state, you get a different yardstick. If you're a non-BJP, you get a different yardstick. So I think in every way, the treatment has been less than fair or neutral.
All right. Now, if you'll permit, I want to ask you very quick questions, a little bit about your personal life as well as your personal, what you like as well. I want to ask you. First question, you've lived many years of your life in the US, so Manhattan or Madurai?
I guess at that time Manhattan, at this time Madurai.
Okay. Okay, and you have seen the kind of debates that happen in the Wall Street trading or the Tamil Nadu Assembly debates?
I wish there were more debates in the Tamil Nadu Assembly. Sadly, we don't have enough debates. I wish we have more debates because democracy thrives on debate. We should have more of them, yeah.
Okay, so, MIT taught you finance. What did Madurai teach you?
Madurai taught me, I think, humility, compassion, kind of respect for the depth of our culture. Those kinds of things which are quite unique because Madurai, as you know, is at the heart of the Tamil culture from the days of the Sangam era. Right? So,
and lastly, one finance term or in a very financial way, if you have to tell the voters of Madurai to vote for you, what would you say?
All elections, you should vote for what is in your financial interest. And I think it's in the interest of the voters that the DMK should be in office again. And I hope that they feel the same way about me being their MLA. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much for joining us on Times Now's Election Yatra, giving us a glimpse of what your life is like and the promises that he has for Madurai as well. And of course, we're going to be going around Madurai, speaking to the people as well to find out what they think. While the DMK faced stiff competition from the AIADMK in Madurai in the previous election, This time, the TVK is also looking to make its impact. But can the DMK weather the storm, or will Madurai once again be the platform for yet another political revolution? Well, Tamil Nadu and Madurai in particular have seen a lot of political activity in the recent times and also in history. The state conferences by the DMK and the AIADMK have been etched in history. And in the recent times, whether it was the launch of Vijay Kant's political party, Kamal Hassan holding a state conference, or the Lord Muruga conference, or even Amit Shah's political rally, a lot of political activity has picked up in Madurai, giving a clear indication that this is going to be one of the key battlegrounds. Minister PTR claimed that the DMK is going to have a strong standing. Is that what the people think as well? We find out this election. Thank you for joining us on Times Now's Election Yatra.